What was it like growing up in the Solomon Islands? My name is Harold. I'm from the beautiful Solomon Islands and I've been living in Japan for the last 3 years as a student. Before I go back and answer the question, I think I need to tell you a bit about the Solomon Islands. Solomon Islands is a Pacific island nation located close to Australia and Papua New Guinea. We have more than 700,000 people, and the islands are predominantly occupied by Melanesians or dark looking people like me. But then we also have Polynesians and Micronesians because we have, guess what? A total of 992 islands. So I happen to live on one of the big islands called Malaita. It's about 1600 square miles, which I guess it's not pretty small. And my village is like located in the interior of the island. So I grew up in Malaita in the 90s. Life was very, very basic. My dad was a primary school teacher, which means that we do have an income to rely on a fortnightly basis. Yeah, but it's a Solomon Islands, so the income was not that really big. But the good thing about the Solomon Islands is the islands are owned by the people, which means that we own the land. We can do whatever we want on the land. So almost everyone in the Solomon Islands, they grow their own food. They are free to go out and fish. And because my dad was a school teacher, we have the privilege of going to the schools on the island, which means that I get to experience life in other villages. But wherever we go as a family, life was pretty much similar, I should say. So do people work and all this? Well, I don't have the statistics with me, but I think the employment rate of the country is very low. So a lot of people depend on the land. They farm, they grow crops and vegetables, and they normally take their produce to urban centers to sell. Now, having said that, not every village in the Solomon Islands has access to basic infrastructure. Like, for example, when I was growing up in my village, we have to walk for, I don't know how many kilometers, but something like 3 hours to another village to get on a truck to go to the nearest town. And it was really hard work doing that. Like if you need to get necessities from the urban center, you have to walk. Well, in 2015, they built a road to my village and that has improved life a lot. But I must say that life is pretty much the same. Now, talking about life, before white people came to the islands, our people used to worship their ancestors. Currently, more than 90% of the entire Solomon Islands are Christians. They belong to some kind of church. But before that, our great-grandfathers used to worship their ancestors. Interestingly, my own grandfather grew up in that life. He got converted to Christianity maybe in his 20s. So you can just imagine like how remote we are as a country. Like we were secluded from the outside world for way too long. Although the country was first sighted by an European in the 1500s, it took a while for the entire country to be converted to Christianity. But having said that, there are certain people on my island, a small group of people, that are still practicing the ancestral ways of like worshipping their ancestors. I would say growing up in the village has really shaped me as a person. Like we have this close bond with everyone. Like relatives to us is very, very important. Like you have aunties, uncles, cousins. You can be living together in the same house, or like in the village, like they might have their separate house, but like you are always together as a community. So I grew up with that sense of togetherness, and I think it has always inspired me to make new relationships everywhere I go. Like I always like to make friends and try to create like something like a family everywhere I go. Now, where did I go to school? I started my education in my village. The name of our school is called Okola Primary School. Because my dad was a teacher, I had an opportunity of getting educated in other schools on the island as well. Because the Solomon Islands is a former British protectorate, we learn English starting from like kindy or primary school. English is the official language of the country. And although we don't use it every day, like to converse and all this, we use the local language, but like everything is written in English. And I think everyone can understand English to some extent. I think one of the inspirations for me as a kid growing up was my dad. Like, he has a home library, and I think I read a lot when I was a little kid, and it has opened my mind to kind of see what the world is like. So I have within me when I was growing up that I want to go here, I want to go there, I want to do this. And I believe that education was one of the means, or one of the tools that can actually get me to visit other countries. Because if you talk about the Solomon Islands, for a kid that is raised in a village, it's totally unheard of for you to just one day pick up your luggage and go to Fiji, to go to Japan and all these places. So education was a tool that was used by our parents to kind of encourage us to dream big. And that education is what brought me to Japan. If you want to know how I've moved to Japan from the Solomon Islands, please do check out this video right up here. This is Harold. Thanks for watching.